the Generic Geriatric Cyclist. My first FTP test of 2022.
Hello and welcome. I'm the Generic Geriatric Cyclist. Today I'm going to be doing an FTP ramp test. This will give me an objective way to evaluate my training, to see if I'm on the right track or the wrong track.
I've been rotating my 3 workouts, Zone 2, Tempo, and Hills, for 8 weeks now, so it's time for an FTP test to monitor my progress, if any. Briefly, the functional threshold power, or FTP, is defined simply as the power you can hold for an hour, measured in watts, or so they say. I couldn't keep up with my threshold power for an hour if a carnivorous wild animal was chasing me. But anyway, that's the definition. The quickest and easiest FTP test is the ramp test. It's so called because you ramp up your power 20 watts per minute until you can't do any more. My goal today is to get through 260 watts and into 280 before I quit. FTP is determined by dividing your hardest minute by 0.75, but don't worry about the math. Zwift does it for you. I did my last FTP test back in October. It fell from 206 to 197. That may be within the margin of error, but nobody likes to go backwards. But then going backwards is often the case as we get older. Apparently, the best an old guy like me can do is slow his decline. Progress in gaining cycling power is supposedly out of my reach. That makes me wonder why I should bother with this exhausting test. Well, I've been feeling stronger now that I'm training harder, and I'm hoping that I will get a higher FTP score, at least over 200 again. One of the worst things about training indoors is always forgetting something. Some days it's my water bottle. Sometimes I forget to turn on the fan. Other days I forget to tighten the trainer to my rear wheel. Today I forgot to record the computer screen before my ramp test. All I had to do was press Windows Alt-R. Oh well. I'm not going to do this test again until I have to, so I can't redo the test for the benefit of my channel. You'll have to take my word for it. Look over to the left side of the screen. You can see that I finished the 300-watt segment, something I never even expected to get to. I wanted to get into 280 watts, but I never thought I'd finish it. Then I didn't even realize that I'd finished 300 watts too. Somehow it all came together for me. I'm stunned with my results. A 29-watt increase is very good for any cyclist, but for an old guy like me, it's incredible. I'm floored by the results. I never thought I had that much left in the tank. Makes me feel like training even harder. But there's a downside. There's always a downside. Other than gauging training effectiveness, the most important reason to do an FTP test is to determine your training zones. My zones will be a lot harder now, so I'll have to work a whole lot harder. A whole lot harder. I don't have a choice. I'm using Dr. Andrew Coggin's 7-zone training model. You could also use 6 zones because the 7th zone is something you might accidentally enter in an epic effort, but it isn't a place where people, human people anyway, train. Okay, the bigger question is not how I'm training, but why I'm training. I'm not a racer, and I'm in no way intending to ride competitively in any way. My training goals as a recreational rider aren't all that lofty. I just want to gain a slightly faster average speed and to be able to go up hills faster and more comfortably. I also want to build the endurance necessary to keep up my pace for longer periods. As such, I probably won't be doing much work in the higher power zones. I don't need to sprint or to be part of a surge in a race. I'll see very little of Zone 5 and almost none of Zones 6 and 7, so I won't train in them. However, we're all in a race with Father Time. He always wins, but I plan to give him a good run for his money.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm happy and exhausted. So long for now, and hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.